If you know 7 of these 10 Mexican Spanish phrases, your Mexican Spanish is better than pretty much everyone else's. I'm not gonna lie, for some of these phrases, I had to remind myself of what the meanings were, but these are seriously really funny, so make sure to watch all the way to the end because I've also provided a fun bonus one at the end. La primera frase que tenemos es chupó faros. Chupó faros. I'm going to give you a few seconds for each phrase to guess what it means, and then we'll tell you, okay? Chupó faros means literally he sucked headlights. Un faro can also mean a lighthouse, but in this particular situation, this means headlights. So literally, he sucked headlights. Can you guess what happens when someone sucks headlights? They died. I love Mexican Spanish. This video is going to be so fun. Okay, chupó faros. Okay, literally, he sucked headlights. Ay, qué triste. Juan chupó faros. Another funny one you can say is se lo llevó el tren. Se lo llevó el tren. Literally meaning the train took him or he died as well. So chupó faros, he sucked headlights, aka he died, or se lo llevó el tren. The train took him. Also, before we continue, click the link in the video description if you want to join my Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. It's really cool. Get all the information by clicking the link in the video description. Número 2, echar un taco de ojo. I'll give you a few seconds. Okay? Echar un taco de ojo is when you are checking someone out. Let's say you're with your romantic partner and you see them looking at someone. You're like, oye, ¿te estás echando un taco de ojo? Are you like, literally echar? Mexicans typically use the verb echar as an informal way to say to eat something. Like, for example, ¿quieres echar unos tacos? Do you want to have some tacos or eat some tacos? You could also use it with, cerveza, por ejemplo. Oye, compa, ¿quieres echar unas cervezas? Do you want to have some beers, for example? So here, cuando echas un taco de ojo, when you have a taco de ojo, literally a taco of eye, you're checking someone out. So, oye, ¿qué estás haciendo? ¿Estás echando un taco de ojo? Are you checking someone out? Okay? Echar un taco de ojo. Good phrase. Número 3, hacerse bolas. Hacerse bolas. Okay. Hacerse bolas literally translates to make oneself balls. It sounds really rude, but basically this just means to get confused. So, for example, ay, perdón, güey, se me hizo bolas, por eso no vine a tu fiesta. Sorry, man, I got confused. Por ejemplo, pensé que tu fiesta era el sábado y no el domingo. Se me hizo bolas, perdón que no fui. Right? So, I use this as se me hizo bolas, right? Like, that's so weird in English. I'm not even going to say it in English. The idea is, you get confused, okay? Me hizo bolas or se me hizo bolas, all right? I got confused. Número 4, a falta de pan, tortillas. A falta de pan, tortillas. Okay? A falta de pan, tortillas just means make use with what you have, right? So when you don't have bread, tortillas, okay? And as we know, in any Mexican household, at any meal, there's always going to be tortillas. So the idea here is maybe bread is a little bit better, you could argue. I'm not so sure. But the idea is make use of what you have. Make the best of your situation. A falta de pan, tortillas. That is a super Mexican phrase. Número 5. Me dejó como el perro de las dos tortas. I love Mexican Spanish. This is so fun. Me dejó como el perro de las dos tortas. All right? Take a few seconds. All right? So, literally, this is translating to, he left me like the dog of the two sandwiches. The idea here being that a dog that wants 2 sandwiches, because it's kind of being greedy, it goes for both, but it ends up getting none, basically. Me dejó como el perro de las dos tortas. So, when someone, leaves you like el perro de las dos tortas, it basically just means you ended up with nothing. I think you could also say me quedé, like I was like the dog of the 2 sandwiches. Basically meaning that I was greedy, I tried to get both things, but I ended up not getting either of them, and I ended up with nothing. Me dejó como el perro de las dos tortas, or me quedé como el perro de las dos tortas. Número 6, estar como agua para chocolate. Estar como agua para chocolate. What do you think that one means? Okay. Estar como agua para chocolate means to be like water for chocolate. Sounds a little bit weird, but the idea here is that when you make hot chocolate, what do you do with the water? You boil it, right? You make it really hot. This just means when you are really angry or you're emotionally upset, okay? Estoy como agua para chocolate. I'm boiling mad, okay? ¿Escuchaste lo que pasó con José y su novia? Ella estaba como agua para chocolate. Man, she was like water for chocolate. She was so mad, okay? Estar como agua para chocolate. When you're boiling mad. You can also think of this as like when your blood boils. Número 7. Entre broma y broma, la verdad se asoma. I love this one. Entre broma y broma, la verdad se asoma. This literally translates to between joke and joke, the truth comes out, okay? Basically meaning that if you constantly joke about something, it's probably because it's true. Like, wouldn't that be so funny if, I really liked you and like we weren't just friends or something like that. That's a horrible example. But basically, when you're constantly joking about something, it's like, you can say to someone, entre broma y broma, la verdad se asoma. And I'm not going to lie, my girlfriend has said this to me like quite a few times. So, yeah, entre broma y broma, la verdad se asoma. The more you joke about something, the more it's probably true. Número 8, ahí nos vidrios. Ahí nos vidrios. Okay? Ahí nos vidrios just means see you later, alligator. That's kind of what you would say in English, okay? Ahí nos vidrios. Typically, you would just say nos vemos. However, here we're saying ahí nos vidrios. Ahí meaning there. Sometimes people will say ahí nos vemos, like see you later or see you around is kind of how you can think of that. And vidrios means glass, okay? So, for example, un vaso, so a glass, is made of vidrio, is made of glass, okay? Un vidrio could also be like a window, for example, un vidrio, but it's glass. Ahí nos vidrios. So, literally, there we glasses. Doesn't really make sense, but it's just a fun way to say see you later instead of saying ahí nos vemos. So, ahí nos vidrios, ahí nos vemos. Número 9, el que no tranza, no avanza. El que no tranza, no avanza. Okay? This basically means he who does not hustle or cheat doesn't advance. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this phrase, but Mexicans do say this one quite a bit. The idea being that sometimes you have to step on toes and fingers and you have to cheat and you have to hustle and you have to do things that maybe aren't the most ethical in order to advance. I personally don't agree with this, but it is a common thing that people will say. El que no tranza, no avanza. Basically, if you're not hustling, you're not advancing. That can be good and bad. Número 10. Cuando el río suena, agua lleva. Also, make sure you stick around because there's a bonus phrase after this one, okay? Cuando el río suena, agua lleva. Literally meaning when the river sounds, it carries water. Basically what this means is that when you hear a rumor, it's for a reason. The idea here is that rumors often carry some truth. Basically meaning if people are talking about it, then there probably is something going on. Maybe it's a bit twisted, but there is something going on. So cuando el río suena, agua lleva. So when people are talking about something, when there's rumors going around, there may be some truth behind them. And our bonus Mexican phrase, which is arguably my most favorite on this entire list, is la carne de burro no es transparente. La carne de burro no es transparente. Now, my dad in English would say this phrase to me all the time. Or he would say to me, you make a better door than a window. So here, donkey meat is not transparent, meaning if you are watching TV and someone's standing in front of you, you can say to them, oye, la carne de burro no es transparente. Like, you're standing in front of me, I can't see. It sounds weird, but you can think like, you're not transparent, I can't see, move. In English, we would say, you make a better door than a window, but in Spanish, in Mexico, you could say, la carne de burro no es transparente. Muchas gracias por ver este video. Click the link in the video description if you want to join our Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. Hasta luego.